African or indigenous chicken farming. How profitable can the Kienyeji or the traditional chicken farming be? We are here today to dissect how you can make your Kienyeji chicken farming or indigenous chicken farming much profitable. My names are Antonio Innocent Mdongi, a poultry expert up to master's level, and if you haven't subscribed to our YouTube channel, kindly hit the subscribe button and you'll always get a success story or an educative video every week. This is how the Kienyeji chicken business can be extremely profitable or very profitable. One is understand the seasons. It's a very seasonal business. The Kienyeji chicken business is divided into 3 segments. The first segment is the hatching business. If you want to do Kienyeji chicken business, you either be a person who will be hatching and selling day-old chicks. 2, you either be a person who will be selling fertile eggs. 3, you either be a person who will be selling mature chicken for consumption or for meat. And therefore, can you just sell chicks in December and you make a profit? Can you just sell meat during Eid and you make a profit? We are here, or I'm here, to make you understand the dynamics so that if you want to start a successful Kienyeji business, have this in mind and you'll basically succeed. Number 1, understand the seasons. Mostly from January up to May, the Kienyeji chicken business is very low. And therefore at this time, the market for chicks is very low. The market for eggs, those fertile eggs, it's equally very low. And the consumption of meat is average. So if you have to be a Kienyeji chicken farmer, then during this time, you should either have chicken that you're selling for meat, that is if you have a reputable supplier, or you should be having chicken that are maturing and readying them for production of eggs, fertile eggs. Okay? Why? From the period of May to August, this is a season whereby the chick business or selling day-old chicks starts to boom. Selling fertile eggs for other people to hatch starts to boom. And so, you should position yourself strategically in the industry, in that have your day-old chicks that you're going to use as a parent stock somewhere in January, December. Then raise them to maturity. You know, most people will say a bird will start laying at 4 weeks. From experience and from the science point of view, good laying starts at week 22. Week 22 is 5 months and a half. So if you start taking care of your birds or bring your birds up from December, you say December, January, February, March, somewhere around mid-April, but by May you will get eggs that are of the right size for hatching. So you position yourself as a breeder. So you can either start selling your fertile eggs, because the market from May, June, July is booming. It's, you know, the market starts from May, it keeps rising, June, July. By August, the market for fertile eggs is at peak. And also, the market for day-old chicks is at peak. So you can either do hatching at this time so that you can start selling day-old chicks. You brood your chicks, sell them at a week old, brood your chicks, sell them at 2 weeks old, like that, like that, like that. Or you can sell fertile eggs. You can also come in the business from the other side, whereby you don't have necessarily to raise the parent stock from December up to May and start getting the eggs and, you know, hatching and selling. You can come in just as a farmer who will look for that reputable breeder, buy fertile eggs from him or her, then hatch them in your hatchery, and then you sell the day-old chicks. or hatch, brood the chicks to a week or 2 or 3 or a month old, and then sell them. So those are the dimensions you should look at the business from January up to June. Okay? Therefore, at this time, let's say we've now sold the day-old chicks, or we've sold the fertile eggs from May. We are now in June, July, somewhere August. At this time, the Kienyeji business takes a different angle. People now, or farmers, start focusing on the festive season, which is December and New Year, early January. And therefore, at this time of the year, consumption of meat is high, or rather consumption of chicken meat is high, which is the Kienyeji meat or the indigenous meat. And therefore, you should now focus on raising chicken for maturity, so that you can sell them when they are now mature birds to be consumed. Now, if you are a breeder, you then stop hatching, because you'll hatch and there's nobody who will buy your eggs in November and in your chicks in November and December, because the market is due. These birds will take 5 months to mature. So farmers will want to have the birds or the chicks from August, September, October, November, December. The chicks are ready, or the hens are ready, and basically the birds are ready for consumption. So I want you to venture into this business having understood the market dynamics, so that you don't find yourself at crossroads with chicken and you're unable to dispose them, either chicks and you're unable to dispose them. Because either way, if you have the chicks or if you have the mature birds with no market, your cost of production keeps increasing. They start eating into your profit. In a layman's language, they start eating into your pocket. So you should be in a position to sell off the birds at the right time, so that you don't incur an extra cost and you make your profits. I hope you get it right, and I hope you get it very correctly in quotes. Therefore, by the time we are done with December and early January, then the Kienyeji business for chicks and fertile eggs comes to a halt. At this point then, you start, either you take a break, or if you're a breeder, you proceed with the chain. You bring in new chicks, start breeding them for maturity, so that you can get them ready by May, June, July, so that you can sell your fertile eggs and then day-old chicks, and the cycle repeats and repeats and repeats. At this part, the only beauty about indigenous chicken, or the improved indigenous chicken, is once the birds are almost ready for market and you feel that there's going to be a challenge in market, there's a way you can try to play around with their feeds and still they can't cut their weight. You see, you can try to play around with the cost of feed, by the quality, trying to just give them a ration that is going to sustain them towards the market, without them cutting on their weight. All right? Because you're not focusing on egg production, you're just focusing on maintaining that particular weight that you targeted and you've achieved. That is the beauty on Kienyeji chicken, or improved indigenous birds, or basically indigenous birds. Feed is very important. It cuts across layers, broilers, and Kienyeji birds. Very important is water. Give your indigenous birds the correct water. Don't just assume. The main challenge, or the main problem, or the main disease with indigenous birds, many of the phone calls I've been receiving for farmers keeping indigenous birds, has been coccidiosis. How does it come in? Coccidiosis is brought in by ignorance. Most of farmers assume that these birds are hardy, and you just take some leftovers that even have gone sour, they've said they're in the dustbin for a few days, and you give the birds. That is not correct. Even if you're giving the birds leftovers, give them leftovers that have not rotten. Okay? try to give the Kienyeji birds feed that is also quality, just to minimize on externalities, which are now the diseases, and most common is coccidiosis. All right? Another myth or misconception is indigenous birds are very resistant. They cannot be infected by diseases. Who said that? We have diseases like Newcastle, viral disease, Gumboro, viral disease. You have to vaccinate these birds. You have to. That is the only way you can control mortalities. That is the only way you can maintain the correct weight gain. That is the only way you can have the correct type of carcass to dispose to the market with less accumulation or buildup of antibiotics in their systems. I hope you've learned something from this video, and keep watching our videos. Subscribe.